This is an interview with...
Aleksandra Sapok, hello.
Hello, and I am very happy to be sitting with this very talented young lady who's also a very good cook.
Thank you.
I've been enjoying some of your Polish recipes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just thank you very much for inviting me to your home.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Right, I've got your spiel here, so to speak, and you won Young Guitarist of the Year twice in Poland, yes?
Yes, that's true. It's a kind of competition which is mandatory for every student in 5th class of secondary music school. And because I have some changes in my class, I won this twice, actually.
Twice? That's not bad going. So what are you doing in a small town in mid-Cornwall?
Oh, what I'm doing here? Everything what is the best. I go to the beach, but mostly I am here with my fiancé. And, of course, I have some concerts coming on.
You do, and we're going to talk about them in a minute. So, young guitarist, what got you into playing guitar?
Oh, it's a story when I was, I believe, 7 or 8, when I really wanted to play electric guitar and to have own band. And then, so my mom said, okay, so let's go to music school. I passed entrance exams, and then I started to play the guitar. I didn't really think how it will look like. So obviously I had to play classical guitar. And after some time I just fall in love in that kind of music, and it stayed till now.
You mentioned that you go to a music school. Did you go to a music school?
Yes, primary and secondary music school, and then music university.
So that was your sort of basically from 7 or 8 straight through your life?
Yes. It's all together, I believe, 16 years.
Whoa. It's a lot of time spent playing a guitar.
Yes, I play, maybe it's even longer. Now I'm not sure, but I played 22 years. So maybe it was, something like that.
Something like that. Well, I've interviewed you before and I've heard you play before. Recently, I think last year, you were playing in the hall in Campbell.
Yes, I was. Yes.
Yeah, and utterly phenomenal talent.
Thank you very much.
And it shows that you have been all this practice.
Mm-hmm.
I remember somebody said, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Was the old joke, isn't it? And it's practice, practice, practice.
Nowadays, of course, it's true, but nowadays you can also pay and to get concert there. So we found the easiest way for this also, yeah.
You can be rich too.
How much do people listening, how much do you recommend that people practice?
Oh, it all depends on your goals, and it all depends how efficient you can use your time. So I believe there is for professional musician, I believe there is no point really to practice more than 3-4 hours, but use that time very wisely and to know what you want to achieve.
So basically, if you want to be the best, you've got to practice to be the best.
Exactly. It's also about mindset. It's to know how to approach everything what you want to achieve. Yeah.
May I just point out to our listeners that Ola is better at English than I am, so I'm just going to come in with words like mindset. It's Ola, so you've got 2 concerts coming up in the next 10 days, 12 days?
Yes, next Friday, which is 31st of January. It will be in our new concert hall in Connor Downs. It's a Women Institute hall. Very lovely place. It will be my first concert there, which will be opening concert for future series of other performers in that place. And then on next day, on 1st of February, it's in the center in Stydians.
2 great concerts. Now, what sort of music will you be playing at these concerts?
In this time I play mostly Spanish and Latin music. I will open the whole concert with very famous variations on theme of Mozart, opera, Magic Flute, and by Sor. Yes, of course, by Sor. And then it will be set of Brauer composition, which is a Cuban composer. I will play Danza Caratteristica, Un Día de Noviembre, and 10 etudes from Estudios Sencillos. And the first half will be finished with La Muerte del Ángel by Astor Piazzolla. Then we will have a break. There is exhibition of guitars by Martin Douglas, if someone would like to take a look. And my second half, I start...
also Steve Slim.
And Steve Slim artist, yes. And the second half, I will start with Sevilla and Cordoba by Isaac Albeniz. The next one is Invocation and Dance by Rodrigo. And I will finish the whole concert with 3 pieces by Francisco Tarrega. It will be Rosita, Marietta, and Recuerdos de la Alhambra.
You pronounce those words very well indeed.
I hope.
Not only do you're mastering English, presumably as a classical guitarist, you have to learn languages like Spanish and Italian?
Yeah.
Understand them, maybe?
I used to live for some time in Spain, so at that moment I could communicate in Spanish. Now I understand most of the things. Yeah, but obviously English is the best second language.
The best second. I'm going to get you to learn Cornish soon.
Yeah.
You got to learn phrases like, "Oh, aren't you handsome?" and
Nostar.
So, how does playing Spanish Latin music compare to playing classical music, or is it the same thing?
Oh, I think it's very like it's in the repertoire of classical guitar, and basically it's just a bit different style of music, which is more with passion, more with colorful, often very fast, and based on some dances from South America, for example. So yeah, I like Spanish music because it has a lot of character, and you can show a lot of different colors and your abilities. So I believe it's something what makes you feel that guitar is about. Yeah.
I was going to point out that classical music, to me as an amateur, seems quite technical.
Nowadays it's a lot of about technique, yes, but I believe that true musician makes you feel to think more about musical aspect than just that super
That's
fast
the
ability.
angle.
And, yeah.
That's the angle I was hoping you were going to say. While Latin and Spanish music, you almost want to be dancing around a bar somewhere playing it.
Yeah.
Who is your idol, so to speak? Someone who you think of? I mean, I remember certain boxers visualise Muhammad Ali when they fight. Certain footballers visualise Pelé.
Okay.
Yeah. Who do you think about when you are playing?
Oh, it's a very interesting question because it really depends on my time in my life. Just strictly with classical guitar, I had always my 2 favorite guitarists / composers, which was Leo Brouwer, which pieces I will be playing on this concert, and Roland Diaz. Those are 2 my favorite composers, and Roland Diaz also very good guitarist. But during my that 22 years of playing the guitar, I had many different influences. For many years, I used to listen to Piazzolla all the time. And then I had a lot of passion for Schubert on piano, for example. So everything, I think through all this time, I touched everything a little bit. And of course, I would like to add that when I was a student, I had masterclass with Ben Salfield. And he put a lot of influence on me during that time, and he was one of the people who made me love that music even more.
Come out of your shell, maybe. Is that an expression to use? Come out of your shell to be more...
Yeah, to be more in this, yeah, exactly.
It's a good thing she name-checked Ben Solfield there, because somebody was sitting on the other end of this table getting quite moody. Do you, when you're playing, do you play automatically? Do you lose yourself?
Well, this is something what you are looking for in the concert, that you have that state of flow. And this is that moment when you don't really think that much about each movement. It just flows, as it says. But of course, it's much more complicated. Sometimes you are more concerned about some things, sometimes less. So depends on the moment, really.
If you can get a Zen-like thing going in a concert, then you're doing very well as a musician.
I think that's a good way to say it. The Zen, like I remember watching Andrei Diishi at one of your lovely Hellas concerts. I think he memorised the entire works of Villa-Lobos.
That's right, yeah. All the complete works, guitar works of Villa-Lobos, 130 minutes no break, no mistakes. He didn't want it on YouTube because there were two notes that he felt were slightly quieter than they should have been. I couldn't find. I looked at that recording about 10 times and I couldn't spot it. But that's perfectionism.
He was in a Zen state. I remember that. He wasn't physically there.
Yeah.
His hands, his fingers. Presuming that is the ideal state to play, is it?
Oh, of course.
It happens half a dozen times in your career in concert.
You always want to get that state, but you always wish that it will be that day.
It is something to behold. And I remember seeing you when you were playing in Camborne. You didn't quite reach that state, but you and the music were one. You were moving with the guitar, the little movements, looking at it. I don't think these things are designed to be put into words. No language can translate that state. But it adds to the music, and you captivated a room full of people there. I'm now going to ask a difficult question. Is there a difference between, for example, I could go and buy John Williams, for example, playing Villa Lobos. I don't know if he has or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. What difference is me sitting at home, listening to him, than coming to the concert and listening to you?
Oh, I think it's much different to be on live concert than on to listen to CD. Both have pretty different feelings. On the concert you can feel atmosphere. You are also in a group of other people who are in the same kind of state like you at that moment. You can feel more that atmosphere, that thrill in air. It's completely different. At home it's more like you can lie on the sofa with maybe earphones and more like chill out. It's a bit different, I would say.
Oh, that was a question I already knew the answer to. Live is so much better. It doesn't matter if you're playing punk, ska, classical, anything. Live is better.
It's about that thrill.
It is about the feel. And when I saw you in Camborne, it was at Wesley Church, I think?
Yes. Yeah.
What a perfect atmosphere. And those churches were designed, I think, for music. And you look like you belonged there.
Oh, yeah.
I never heard anyone say that Ola looks like she belongs in church before. But
what sort of venues do you think are best for playing your style of music? Is there a style?
What is the best? I don't know what is the best. I know what I like the most.
What do you like the best?
Where I feel the best. I really take care of how everything looks around. So I like when I'm surrounded with wood. I'm not super keen on very high stages, for example. I like to feel more contact with people. And of course, this is just details. The most important is what audience you will meet there. And this is the perfect place for a musician, is to play for people who really would like to listen to that music and someone who appreciate this and are happy that just came and spend the time with you.
What is the biggest audience you've ever played to?
Oh, the biggest audience, I believe something around 1,000 probably.
That's a lot of people.
A lot of people, yeah.
Lot of eyes.
You can't really see anything normally on that concert because you are on the stage and everything is super dark. So you are just playing and you hope they are there. Yeah.
I was going to say what's the smallest audience, but we're probably going to, not smallest number of people, so what's the most intimate venue? That's a better word to describe it.
The most
Intimate's a better word than small, I think.
yeah.
Could be.
Of course I played some concerts like in art galleries where was around, let's say, 20 people. I don't know how to answer this question. I think around
I think
20
when you're a
probably.
young guitarist starting out, you're happy to play the smallest venues full. Rather than the largest venues empty. And if when you're starting out, you don't have people don't have a knowledge about what you can do. So yeah.
I always more appreciate that really someone would like to take their own free time and to come to listen to me than on counting how many people is where. I much more value that someone put that effort to come. Yes, for sure.
You obviously are a very talented guitarist. This is a question I asked Ben a few years ago.
No,
Okay.
I deny it. Totally deny it.
You are a very talented guitarist. Could you earn more money if you were in a rock band, in a famous rock band, for example? I asked Ben this question, and Ben's reply was interesting.
I don't remember that question or the answer, but there you go.
So I remember it. I mean, for example, if
Probably you
you're
could.
presumably you're not after the money, you are there because you love playing the music.
Yeah. I think that probably it's easier to earn money from more popular kinds of music, but money is not everything in life. Of course, I'm trying to get as much money as I need in my life. It's obviously everyone has to pay bills and all this, but it's also about feeling successful in your life, and this makes me successful.
I love that. It's what makes you successful. It's not about money or fame. It's what makes you... I love that term. I'm pinching that term. Successful. It is. It's something that in life... Growing up, you want the biggest, the best, the fastest, the richest. And it's not until you've reached a point in life where you realise that it's what is happy for you.
I'm very grateful for this, what I can do, and I'm very grateful for each concert I can play. And it makes me a better person and makes my life fulfilled. So I'm happy for how it is.
I'd point out that for me, for many years, and it's my 40th anniversary year this year since I started playing music, that I played thousands of concerts, and you get to a point where you almost can take some of those concerts for granted. You're playing in a big theatre in I don't know what city for 2,000 people, and it's your way of life, and you take it for granted. It's only when you take a step back that you realise that actually doing one concert is a very special thing. And that every time you do a concert, it's something that very, very small proportion of people are either A, capable of doing, B, if they're capable, would want to do. And see, in a way, why do you put yourself through it? Well, you're driven to do that. You don't, nobody makes you do it, you choose to do it. But the fact that you can do that is in itself a success.
I think it is. It's about individual taste. We live in a world where you must conform to make money. You must appeal to thousands of millions of people. We were talking about this during your lovely meal, about how everything is getting very homogenized and everything must not have spices in it because everybody doesn't like spices. Classical music is classical because it's been around 400 years, 500 years.
Oh, it's named classical because it's a classical that I think what everything else developed from. So yeah, it's somehow nowadays it's a bit negative to say classical music, and there's nothing negative about it. It's just the purest form, and then all other music developed from this. Yeah,
I'm the same with when people talk about early music. I don't like that term early music. Early music, which means anything that's sort of pre-classical. No, we had a renaissance where people were achieving great things. We had another period, the Baroque period, where people were enhancing those things, but there was a lot more partying going on, it seems. and then after that, you have the certain pre-classical things, like with the guitar, you had the romantic guitar, the smaller guitars, and then with guitar music, you had classical guitar music, which was a much later thing than what we term classical music starting. But they're all developed from the same roots.
You can tell Ben's a teacher. It's how many strings has a guitar? 8? 6? 6. Says I don't play guitar. But I can, on my way home in a minute, I might be listening to a bit of Deep Purple or a bit of punk. Or I could be listening to a bit of classical music or a bit of Led Zeppelin. All played on 6 pieces of nylon on a wooden box.
Yeah.
Is it nylon you use or?
We use nylon, but with electric guitar it's it's a bit...
I'm just a bit worried about your cats and the old thing about using catgut, but we're not going to go down that road. It's made from nylon before anybody complains.
Yeah.
How do you take 6 bits of nylon on a wooden box and produce things that I can sit back and they lift me and presumably the audience to another level? How do you do that?
I think it's something about this creation of things. It's of course, as you mentioned here with music, it's about that 6 string something. But I believe so that it works also in like building huge, beautiful cathedrals, for example, or painting paint.
Sistine Chapel.
Everything is like that about that creation.
How do you turn a microorganism into a human being over a few million years? Same question.
It is the creation of a people like you, and obviously Ben, and I presume you stand up on the shoulders of giants would be a fair thing to say. Beethoven, Liszt, Wagner, and all the other classical musicians. John Rowland. Is it John Rowland? Rowland?
John Dowland?
Dowland, yep, near enough. John Dowland.
You can see how much interest he's got in early music.
I suppose I should edit this out, but I'm not going to.
John Download, as it once appeared in one of my programmes.
Sir Isaac Newton said he stood upon the shoulders of giants. I think it's actually on the pound coin. Do you feel that, Ola, that you stand upon the shoulders of giants?
I feel like I'm taking all of what was the best from people before me. Of course, also those people with big names and someone who put a lot of effort to develop music, in my case, that I can now take advantage of what they did before. So, yeah.
We've talked about what you're doing. We've talked about where you've come from. Are you ever planning to write your own music? Or do you write your own music?
I think probably one day in the future it will happen, but I think it needs a bit different state inside than I have now. It needs more to want to create that.
More seasoned?
Maybe.
I think more peace and quiet.
Maybe more peace and quiet, yeah.
We're talking about the future here. Now, not only have you got 2 concerts coming up in 10 days or so, the 31st of January in Connor Downs, and the 1st of February in Stydians. You've got some other gigs coming up in April?
Yes, then on April you can come and listen to Benola Duo. So it will be a concert of me and Ben Sarfield. We have a very fascinating program this season, so I hope you will come and listen to our duo. And then on July there will be another 2 my concerts in Penzance, Queen's Hotel and St. Michael's Church in Hurlstone.
I don't know much about classical music, but can you take a track played for one person and split it into be able to something that plays as a duet? Is that possible?
Well, yes, of course it is. Yes, yes. Well, for example, we're playing. One of our new things is I always wanted to play piano, but I never got a chance to learn to do it. And I've always loved Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, and we've done a duo version of Moonlight Sonata written for solo piano. You can't play that very successfully, I think, as a solo piece on guitar, but with my added basses, because I have 10 strings as opposed to 6, and I can play the left hand of the piano mainly, whilst at the same time the right hand and whatever hands are in between goes on Ola's guitar. So yeah, of course you can. Yes, that's all about dividing up the voices of the music, because music is not just one thing. It's a melody, it's a bass line, it's the middle voices that hold everything together, and you divide those up between 2 people, and we do a lot of that actually.
Yes, and plus when you do transcription of music, then I think even you should add something from you, so to make it even a bit better. Otherwise, I feel a bit pointless when you just put the same. Not improve, but to make it sound the best on the guitars.
Yes.
Which is not the same on the piano. If you put strictly notes from piano to 2 guitars, it probably won't work super well.
No, you're absolutely right. You have to. Guitars of different sorts have their own unique characteristics and sound, and you have to get the best out of those when you're doing a transcription, say from piano.
I think it's basic human nature to take something and try and improve it.
Yeah.
No, improve's the wrong word. Change it.
Certainly put a different angle on it.
Yeah. Now, Ola, if
use
I
the
gave
best
you
what you have. I
Yeah.
think
if I gave you a time machine, where would you like to go and play a duet with somebody? Not Ben Sofield.
I get left going to look after the cats. I don't know.
No Ben Sarfield. Oh, this is difficult. If not Ben Sarfield.
You could go back and...
She's under contract, I'll have you know.
Yeah, I have to speak to my lawyer before. To play duo. Well, I have many guitarists, but one which I really love to meet, and unfortunately he died, so it won't be ever possible. I even didn't think that we play duo together, but even to meet and to have contact, and it's Julian Bream.
Oh, well, I did that. So.
That's very good
No one
indeed.
likes to show off.
Right, as we come to the end of this interview, that's a lot of time now. I was about to use a language I cannot use on radio. 31st of January, Connor Downs. 1st of February, Stydian Centre. Now, there is a website where people can book tickets.
Yes, website is www.kernelconcerts.co.uk.
Yes.
And they can book, and the tickets are for a very reasonable price of £12.50.
They are, plus booking fee.
Under 18.
Under 18s are free.
And that for people, for you who plays, is actually a very good value.
Oh yes, I think it's also important for to us to develop, to put in young people also that feeling that it's nice and that it's cool to go on a classical guitar concert, and we are responsible for young people now.
The next generation have to come,
exactly.
Otherwise we won't have a living in 30 years. I've been saying that for 30 years.
Also, it's now nowadays we are very much. In internet, in everything very quick. This is somehow more taking more your effort to go on the concert. So it would be really.
Yes, it could be raining. You might be low on fuel and have to go and get petrol first if you're driving there. It doesn't finish till 9:30 at night, and by that time you might be wanting to wander around in your gym jams. But you're making that effort and you're having an experience. It's like having a sandwich or having the sandwich. You know, there's a difference when there's an effort involved and you get the reward for that.
I told a friend I was going to Camborne to hear you play, and it's classical music, and he said, how can a fan of Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, Rainbow love classical music? And my reply was quite simple, because I love Deep Purple, Rainbow, and Led Zeppelin, because it is music, it is passion.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I sat there when you were playing, when you had someone else playing, and I was carried away. I was not in that hall in Camborne. I was somewhere else.
Tony, because you appreciate music.
Thank
and
you.
you don't
Compartmentalize.
Yeah, you don't put that, I like rock and it's the only thing I like. You just probably put more effort to appreciate different things, which is
Thank you.
Very
And just remember that a lot of the best rock musicians were classically trained as well. And a lot of the best classical musicians have also played a bit of rock on the side. They may not advertise it, but...
We one day will play Ben Sofield's punk era, and on that, and on that thing,
I once played bass in a heavy metal band. It lasted 3 minutes before the show was closed down by the police. Yeah.
And I think, Ola, I will call you Ola, as I struggle to pronounce your name, but it is so lovely to chat to you.
Thank you. The same.
And you more than justified it with some lovely food.
He always thinks of his
Polish food.
And again, you've obviously heard Ben Solfield in the background. Ben, I'm going to quickly grab you at the end here. Okay. I know she was a pupil of yours. Is she one of your best pupils?
Well, I wouldn't say she was a pupil of mine. I did master classes with around Europe in a number of countries over a number of years, and I always thought that she was going to be one of the best in the world. And actually, I gave her, at the end of my 2014 Polish tour, I gave her a book which was all my music scores for the tour, because I like to take a book with all the scores so I can practice with the music in hotel rooms and stuff.
I think I was on the last concert from that.
And it was the last concert
tour.
in the tour, and she was there. And she also did some translating, if I remember that day, for me, into Polish. And I wrote on it, for Ola, who will one day be the greatest. And I stand by that, because as far as I'm concerned, she is already one of the best classical guitarists in the world. And I think that she will be seen in generations to come. Spoken about it in the same breath of people like Julian Bream and so on. I think that she's one of the greatest musicians I've ever worked with.
I think I agree with that completely. I went to see a concert recently by Bob Vylan,
Bob Dylan?
Villain.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
He's somebody who's
Sorry,
going to be big. He is somebody who is going to be big. And I mean big. And I
He's
think
got a wicked name.
and I think Ola has got the same potential.
An element of genius, and you need that, but you need to couple it with the very hard work. And what Ola has that most people I've worked with over the last 40 odd years haven't got is she has an annoyingly better than me work ethic. I was always the tireless Spencer because I can do 12 hours when I'm knackered working at a project, and she can go the extra distance on top of that, and I'll go, well, sorry.
But I think that's
I'm out.
That's the secret of anything
Hard work.
is hard work. And again,
I'm loving it.
near the start of this thing, we said about how do you get to Carnegie or Hall? Practice. And I think it doesn't matter if you're an athlete, whatever you are, it is practice. And on that note, I'm going to say thank you very much to Ola for giving me this interview. Thank you very much for the lovely food. Thank Ben for the lovely refreshments. And also for the lovely cats. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.